In Florida, cities like Orlando and Miami dominate the headlines. But tucked just a few miles north of Orlando's theme park orbit is a small city that punches far above its weight. A place with brick-lined streets, a legacy of tycoons and tastemakers, and a cultural footprint bigger than towns 5 times its size. Winter Park, Florida. Population? About 30,000. But this quiet city has been shaping art, politics, education, and even tourism for more than a century. Today, we're going to take a few minutes to dig into Winter Park. Not just Park Avenue and its cafes, not just Rollins College, but the deeper stories, the ones about architectural preservation, a citrus empire that never came back, and the museum that houses works so rare you won't find them anywhere else in the world. Winter Park wasn't an accident. It was planned. In the 1880s, wealthy New Englanders saw Central Florida not as a swamp, but as an opportunity to create a resort town patterned after their own ideals of refinement. 2 businessmen, Loren Chase and Oliver Chapman, bought the land, laid out streets, and marketed Winter Park as the premier winter resort of the South. Unlike Orlando, which grew rougher and more haphazardly, Winter Park's founders built it with intention. Parks, open spaces, lakes, and a business district designed for strolling. And the crown jewel? Rollins College, Florida's first recognized college, founded in 1885. It gave Winter Park a center of intellectual gravity, attracting professors, writers, and artists who changed the city's trajectory. The economy of early Winter Park was not theme parks or even education. It was citrus. The region's orange groves stretched for miles. Wealthy northerners invested heavily, building winter estates surrounded by fruit. Then came the Great Freeze of 1894-95. 2 back-to-back freezes destroyed nearly every grove in Central Florida. It bankrupted families, collapsed fortunes, and nearly sank the town. Winter Park survived by reinventing itself, not as an agricultural hub, but as a cultural one. That pivot, it was crucial as to why Winter Park today looks more like an arts colony than a citrus town. Walk down Park Avenue and you'll find one of Florida's most surprising institutions, the Charles Morse Museum of American Art. This isn't just another regional art museum. It houses the world's most comprehensive collection of works by Louis Comfort Tiffany. Yes, the Tiffany. His stained glass windows, lamps, jewelry, and mosaics are here in Winter Park, Florida. Why? Because Jeanette McKean, the museum's founder, and her husband Hugh, a former director of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, lived here. They rescued entire Tiffany installations from decay in the 1950s and brought them to Winter Park. One thing you should definitely check out inside, the restored Tiffany Chapel. Originally built for the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, almost no one expects to find it in a small Florida town, but it's here in Winter Park. Since 1938, the Winter Park Scenic Boat Tour has been taking visitors through the city's chain of lakes and canals. This isn't just a pleasant ride. The canals themselves were dug in the 1880s to connect the lakes, giving boat access to winter estates. The tour glides past Rollins College, waterfront mansions, and gardens hidden from the street. It's one of the oldest continuously operating attractions in Florida, older than Weeki Wachee, older than Gatorland, and it's a reminder that Florida's tourism story began with quiet boat rides and citrus groves before roller coasters ever showed up. Rollins only has about 3,000 students, but its alumni and faculty shaped much of Florida's culture. Fred Rogers, better known as Mr. Rogers, graduated from Rollins in 1951. His wife, Joanne, was also a student here. They credited the college's music program with shaping their lives. Archibald MacLeish, the Pulitzer Prize-winning poet, lectured here. Marjorie Canaan Rawlings, author of The Yearling, mingled with faculty. And Winter Park became a magnet for writers, thinkers, and musicians who gave the town a cultural weight far heavier than its size. Winter Park looks wealthy, and it is. Median home values are over $1 million in some neighborhoods, but the city has also fought hard battles to preserve its historic look. The Casa Feliz Historic Home Museum is one example. Designed by James Gamble Rogers II, one of Florida's great architects, it was literally moved across town in 2001 to prevent demolition. That fight sparked a broader preservation movement that kept Winter Park from being paved over by developers. The battle over Casa Feliz galvanized residents into passing stricter preservation laws, which is why Winter Park today looks like a preserved slice of old Florida affluence instead of a strip mall suburb. Every Saturday, the Winter Park Farmers Market takes over the lawn near the Sunrail station. It's one of the most popular in Central Florida, drawing thousands. It's not just produce, it's flowers, fresh bread, artisanal goods, and the kind of small-town bustle that connects Winter Park's identity back to its roots as a planned community. The Farmers Market is where you see Winter Park not as a museum of its past, but as a living, breathing community. Now we come to a part of Winter Park that doesn't always make it into the glossy brochures, Hannibal Square. In the 1880s, black families, many from laborers and craftsmen, settled here. They built homes, churches, schools, and businesses. Hannibal Square was more than a neighborhood. It was the heart of a thriving black community within Winter Park. And here's the remarkable part. In 1887, black residents of Hannibal Square joined with white residents of Winter Park to vote for incorporation. That coalition succeeded, making Winter Park one of the few southern towns of its era whose founding included the black vote. But the story didn't stay so harmonious. Over the years, segregation and disenfranchisement chipped away at that early progress. Hannibal Square was eventually annexed back into Winter Park, but often without the same recognition or resources as the rest of the town. Today, the Hannibal Square Heritage Center tells that story. Founded in 2007, it documents the history, oral traditions, and photographs of Winter Park's black community. It's a place that insists on remembering. This part of Winter Park's history is crucial. It challenges the postcard image and forces the city to confront how race, power, and community shaped its development. Winter Park is not a theme park town. It's not a tourist trap. It's a city that reinvented itself after disaster, preserved its architecture when the bulldozers were circling, and became a hub for art and intellect in a state often caricatured as frivolous. If you want to understand Florida beyond the headlines, you come here to walk the brick streets under live oaks, to sit in the Tiffany Chapel, to hear a Rollins student practicing violin drifting out across the lawn. Winter Park is not just a destination. It's an argument that Florida can be beautiful, thoughtful, and enduring. Thanks so much for gallivanting with me through this journey of Winter Park. If you enjoyed this deep dive, check out the show notes at my website. Remember, the podcast is available wherever you listen: Apple, Spotify, iHeart. Wherever you go, you can take the story with you.